The observation deck of the Nexus station hummed with the quiet efficiency of 1,000 species coexisting in cautious harmony. Tara Mitchell stood at the reinforced viewing window, watching the stars stretch into infinity, when she heard the low, rumbling growl behind her. She turned slowly, keeping her movements deliberate. The Crythian cub, no bigger than a large dog, crouched in the corner of the recreation area, its 6 eyes fixed on a small metallic sphere that gleamed under the artificial lights. The cub's midnight blue scales rippled with tension, and its triple row of teeth clicked together in a warning display. "Easy there, little one," Tara said softly, though she knew the creature couldn't understand standard. The Crythians were one of the galaxy's apex predators, feared across a dozen sectors. Their young were supposedly as dangerous as their adults, compact, bundles of razor-sharp instinct wrapped in armored hide. The cub, Rook according to the identification band on its foreleg, snarled again. The sound vibrated through the deck plating. Several alien visitors immediately vacated the area, their various appendages moving with practiced urgency. Fear of the Crythians was universal, hardwired into the survival instincts of nearly every sentient species. Nearly every species. Tara had been on the station for 3 months working as a cultural liaison. She'd learned that humans had a peculiar reputation out here among the stars. They were the species that didn't quite understand when they should be afraid. Some called it courage, others called it suicidal stupidity. Tara thought it was probably somewhere in between. The cub's attention remained locked on the toy, some kind of puzzle device meant to stimulate young minds. It had probably belonged to someone else's offspring before rolling into Rook's territory. Now the little predator guarded it with the intensity of a dragon hoarding gold. "You know," Tara said, stepping closer, "on my world, we have a saying about sharing." Rook's growl deepened. The translator implant in Tara's ear registered it as a clear threat. "Mine. Stay back. Danger." She smiled. Back on Earth, she'd grown up with 3 younger brothers and more dogs than she could count. She recognized possessive behavior when she saw it, regardless of the number of eyes or teeth involved. "Yeah, I hear you," she said, crouching down to Rook's level. "But here's the thing, buddy. That's not how we make friends." In one smooth motion, so quick that even Rook's predator reflexes couldn't quite track it, Tara reached out and plucked the sphere from between the cub's claws. The reaction was immediate. Rook's scales flared outward in a defensive array, and the cub released a sound that was part roar, part shriek. Across the recreation area, the few remaining aliens fled entirely. Somewhere, an alarm began to beep, probably alerting Rook's guardian to a disturbance. Tara examined the sphere, turning it over in her hands. Nice toy. Little heavy, though. Rook's 6 eyes blazed with what could only be described as outrage. The cub took a step forward, claws scraping against the deck, every line of its small body radiating lethal intent. "Want it back?" Tara asked. She cocked her arm back and threw the sphere down the length of the recreation area. It bounced twice, rolled, and came to rest near the far wall, at least 30 meters away. For a moment, Rook stood frozen, apparently unable to process what had just happened. Then instinct kicked in. The cub's head swiveled to track the sphere's trajectory, and something primal awakened in those alien eyes. Prey drive. Rook launched forward with explosive speed, scales flattening against muscle as the cub transformed into a blur of predatory grace. The distance vanished in seconds. Rook pounced on the sphere with all the intensity of a hunter taking down wounded prey, snatching it up in powerful jaws. Then, to Tara's delight, something unexpected happened. Rook turned around and started trotting back toward her. The cub's gait was different now, less threatening, more purposeful. There was an energy in the movement, a kind of excitement that transcended species barriers. When Rook reached Tara, the cub dropped the sphere at her feet and sat back on its haunches, eyes fixed on her face, tail, a thick, powerful thing sweeping back and forth across the deck. Waiting. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me," Tara laughed. She picked up the sphere, now slightly dented from Crythian jaws, and threw it again. Rook was off like a shot, even faster this time, the thrill of the chase overriding a million years of evolved predatory protocol. The cub retrieved the sphere and brought it back, this time adding a small hop at the end, almost playful. They repeated the game 7 more times. By the 8th throw, a crowd had gathered at the safe distance of the observation deck's upper level. Tara could see them watching through the transparent aluminum barriers, representatives of 24 species, all staring in disbelief at the scene below. A human, playing fetch, with a Crithian cub. The station's AI announced the arrival of Rook's guardian, a full-grown Crithian named Vexra who towered over Tara even from across the recreation area. The adult predator approached with careful, measured steps, its scales rippling through shades of concern and confusion. Vexra's translator activated, the voice deep and resonant. "Human, you should not be near my offspring. It is dangerous." "Is it?" Tara asked, throwing the sphere one more time. Rook bounded after it with unbridled joy, scales flashing iridescent blue in the light. Vexra watched its cub return, watched Rook drop the sphere at Tara's feet with obvious expectation, watched the tail sweep back and forth in a display the Guardian recognized from ancient, presentient times. "How did you?" Vexra began, then seemed to lose the words. Tara shrugged, scratching behind what she assumed was Rook's ear. The cub leaned into the touch, making a sound like a purr crossed with a rumble. Sometimes the scariest things in the universe just need someone who isn't afraid to play with them. She picked up the sphere one more time and Rook's eyes lit up with anticipation, all 6 of them tracking the toy with laser focus. "Ready?" Tara asked. Rook chittered, a sound of pure, innocent excitement. She threw. The predator cub ran, and across the galaxy in 1,000 different languages the story began to spread. The humans, those strange, fearless creatures, had a gift. They could take the universe's nightmares and teach them to play fetch. It was the most human thing imaginable. Finding the puppy in the monster, the friend in the predator, the game in the danger. Rook brought the toy back, and Tara threw it again. Behind them, Vexra made a sound that the translator interpreted simply as, "Remarkable." The human smiled and replied, "On Earth we just call it making friends."